Hey guys, my name is Loco Doco, the better looking host of Listen Loco, and you're watching Thorin's YouTube channel.
Gamer Subs, I'm drinking one here, as I've told you. At the moment, I'm drinking one you can't drink anymore called Grenadier Grape. They don't do it anymore. I would recommend lemonade, cherry limesicle. I find these flavours to be delicious. Blue Raz, just blue raspberry flavour. Get 10% off with the code Thorin, Thorin, at gamersubs.gg. So, Untold Story of Perkz, where that show The Sackdown started on LFN, where they had Yamato Can and I Will Dominate, and you had guest Perkz. Remember, because he got paid loads of money and trash talk, which they say they want for entertainment, and love when Doublelift does, even when he's talking out his arse, they hate Perkz forever because they know he got paid millions. So this guy goes, brainless Balkan bros love dick riding Andrew Tate. All right, does Perkz dick ride Andrew Tate, does he? I guess he probably liked the tweet then. That'll be dick riding, right? Gen Alpha is the shittest generation in history. I always say this. Modern Star Wars is your Star Wars. It's appropriate to your generation. They cultivated that for your generation. That's who you are. It's a reflection of you. I'm Bosnian myself. Right? Do you know, mate? Perkz is Croatian, you're Bosnian, and you're talking shit about Balkans. There's no self-awareness, is there? There's no self-awareness. There's no self-awareness. And then you're also going to fucking talk shit about anyone who lives in the US. Think about your country you come from, and you're ever going to shit talk anyone who lives in the US. Bro, would you have a country without the US? So it goes, I'm Bosnian myself. Oh, well, then go ahead and tell us some ignorant shit. And I see tons of my countrymen in the US who love this fucking loser. So this was just a coincidence this was just a convenient excuse to talk shit on Andrew Tate on a thread about Perkz. I don't know. Maybe you're obsessed with Andrew Tate and anti-dick riding him. By the way, I think Andrew Tate's an idiot. Who gives a fuck though? It's nothing to do with esports. Get over it. You're perma-triggered. And it's so weird he supports Russia. Right, now Perkz supports Russia. Okay. Oh, fucking brilliant. All right, okay. Now he supports... Let me guess, does that mean he didn't heavily support Ukraine? Is that what you mean by that? It goes, given Croatia has a history of being invaded by their neighbour, so every invasion is identical in history, ever. Literally fought a war of independence from Serbia. By the way... Is it actually a war of... I'll say this to Americans for the Brits. Is it really a war of independence if you require the help of a different colonial power to get the independence? That almost sounds like, in a way, you didn't win your independence because you weren't independent. You didn't do it independently. One of those thinkers that might bake your noodle. And then this guy goes, not going to lie, as a Serb, this also baffles me about him, right? And we're now making it all about his identity, ethnically and nationally. And then I love this as well. As a Serb, I also can't understand how he could have ever liked that tweet. By the way, what's this got to do with fucking Untold Story of Perkz? Is that 142 points? You are fucking absolutely spiraling, my bro. Also, fair play. You can tell because this guy got downvoted. He had a great point. What a wonderfully naive take about the whole Yugoslav war. Yeah, you know what? It wasn't really anything to do with liking tweets about Andrew Tate. Crazy idea, innit? Same thread, 23 points. Disgusting. I am so glad this guy got so bad that he was the worst mid laner in the LEC from 2022 to 2024. Do you want to know an amazing self-report? Is when the ones who hate Perkz, and by the way, they hated Perkz in 2021, when he won lock-in, won spring, made to Worlds, got out of the group of death, made top 8 at Worlds with an NA team. They hated him then and said he was shit and wasn't doing anything well and entered every game. In 2022, when he was in Vitality, they made the playoffs, one of the splits, and I can tell you, other mid laners who are world class and other coaches used to tell me behind the scenes, people on Reddit must just hate Perkz because actually his laning phase is pretty good. Or actually, laning phase is one of his main strengths sometimes. He was never a god laner, but they were telling me actually when we play against him in both LEC and scrims, he's doing a good job. And obviously he's got those amazing clutch calls. And then all the players I know who played with him in Vitality were like, oh, he's got incredible mind. Like he's basically our coach. He knows all the macro moves. I've learned so much from Perkz. He's better than any coach I've ever had. But no, he was just the worst mid. Like, by the way, you always know the delusion is that they can't just go, he's not elite anymore, or he's just mid. Mid's even the best insult. They go, he was the worst mid laner from 2022 to 2024. Let's go and have a look. Let's just pull it up. Let's just quickly look at LEC for those 2 years, and we'll see who the worst mid laners are. So we're going to go 2022, 2023, 2024. So we'll go 2022 season. We're going to do summer, spring. Let's go to spring, shall we? So we'll start at the bottom of the table. Astralis, I think this is when they had... they had Dade. So Perkz was worse than Dade. Perkz was worse than Dade. By the way, you don't even remember him. One of the worst players to play in the LEC. It was actually pretty bad. White Knight was decent. Kobe was really good at this time. Promiscu was even all right. That's in spring. We'll go to summer. Vitality misses out by 1 game. And by the way, at one point, they were actually 3rd in the league on week 6. Tied for second. And then they dropped off because they lost out. They lost the last 3 games. By the way, this is why I hate league formats. If these were little tournaments, if you had a LAN there, they could win the LAN. If you had a LAN there, they might not win anything. If you had a LAN there, maybe they'd come quarterfinals. This is why LANs are way better than fucking leagues, you idiots. So let's go and have a look again. Bottom teams are BDS, Astralis, SK. We'll look at those 3, shall we? BDS. Nuclear Int. When he was called Nuclear Int, he was shit. This was terrible. This guy was a total bomb. Everyone made fun of him. But no, Perkz was worse than him. Then who else was it? Astralis, still Dade, STIL. Whoa, everyone said Dade sucked. My last split was the last place in Astralis. Oh shit, that doesn't work. Anyway, Snoop, come in on the beat. That fucking Jay-Z wrote the lyrics for. But no, Dade's worse than him. Then we'll go to, who was it? Astralis, we did that one. SK Gaming. Certus, in his first year, was better than Perkz. Seems debatable, if you ask me. Then we'll go to 2023. Obviously, this is the one where we're going to have to do it this way because it changed the format. So, first split, this is the one where you had Bo and Neon, fought on Kaiser. So, bottom of the league was XL, 1 and 8. Vetio, I think was terrible at this point in time, but no, better than Perkz. Then you go Fnatic. This is when Fnatic was shit. You remember? This is when they were getting rid of, where was it? Ye old Reki was still there with Rox, who you all said, all you Fnatic fans said to sign after Worlds. Remember when you said that? And then bladed it away. He had to play with Rox, didn't he? So, in Fnatic was Humanoid. I'll admit he was probably actually better than Perkz at this time. It wasn't really his fault in this roster. Okay, you can have that one. XL we did. By the way, Vitality was top of the league, so I'm guessing he was the worst mid laner in LEC, but he was top of the league. You also say Bo sucks, but bizarrely top of the league. So Astralis, Dade again. Have you ever heard of Dade since then, by the way? Koi, that was when Rogue renamed to them. Obviously, I'll say Larsen's better than him. BDS, this was actually when Nuclear was starting to get decent. Possible Nuke could have been better, maybe slightly. I mean, why we even look at the rest? We all know, like, it wasn't last, was he? Then we'll go to the spring split. By the way, at the end of the playoffs of this one, they finished 3rd in the whole league in the playoffs. But in these games here, they're there. Perkz. XL. Still Vetio. But he's got Abadage now. I'd say he's pretty shit still. Heretics. Are you ready? This is where it's going to get really crazy. Ruby is better than Perkz, according to this guy. This is how far you have to go to be an idiot. Ruby could play 1 champion. Have you seen him since then, by the way? How did it work out in LCS? Then we got Mad Lions. Look, Mad Lions had his key, he's good. You had Koi, you had Larsen, you have Humanoid. It's weird how it's such a terrible mid lane. He just keeps placing above all these guys at this point in the tournament. Summer season. They came last. They bombed it. You know what? I don't think he was the worst still, but could he have been? You had Leader. I think Leader was better than him at the time. In Heretics, you had Vetio, probably better than him at the time. This might be the one split where it's true. Certus wasn't even bad. Abadage is not. You know what? There's one split, maybe ever, a mini split, 2023, where that could have been true. Then we'll go to 2024 season. I don't know why I'm opening all these. He only plays in fucking winter, doesn't he? He played in winter. Heretics there, tied for essentially 5th place, but the tiebreaker, obviously. Carmine Corp. Get ready. This is mental. Sacken is better than Perkz. Sacken, who used to like not even be able to press R on a Z, worse than Perkz. Are you fucking kidding me? Perkz was one of the only carry players on this team. Yeah, he would hit a bit, but at least he would do something. Rogue had Larson. Giant X, who's Giant X at this point in time? Jackie's first split, he's okay at the time, I guess. Mad Lions Koi. Frescovi is better than fucking Perkz, is he? Look at his haircut, for fuck's sake. He looks like a bad character you make in FIFA. And that was it. That was the end, wasn't it? 23 points. Because if you just hate on certain people, you get upvoted, especially by Fnatic fans, who, by the way, are also salty at Perkz because he didn't join Fnatic on the 2 times he had chances to. Because they thought they were owed him. Since G2 successfully got Caps to join them as a free agent, they thought they were owed to be sold Perkz at a cheap price. Because they're actually unreal in terms of how deranged they are. This is the Valorant one. I did an interview with Chronicle from Fnatic, who, if you go back to like early 2022, might have been the best player in the world. He's like a versatile player. He's not your duelist. By the way, he could be if he wanted to be. He's just a mega Russian player. He's also got a mad swaggy attitude. And he said Leo, because he thought that was the best player in Fnatic and the guy who has had to just go and have some inactivity now, can be on the same level as Faker. Because what he means is he can be the best player and he can transcend the game and he can win everything, which he hasn't done yet, but they've won quite a lot in Fnatic, to be fair. This guy does the classic thing. He goes, if you can make a coherent argument that there's a better player in the world than you aren't close to Prime Faker. Right. So, by that logic, Prime Faker only existed in 1 year of League of Legends. And that year was 2013. Because in that year, you actually, by the way, little detail for you. In the spring, the best player in the world was Flame, the top laner of CJ Enters Players. So actually, Faker wasn't the best then. But if you go to the summer, he probably was the best player. If you go to winter, he absolutely looked like the best player. And if you go to Worlds, he looked like the best player. So for that year, you can't make a coherent argument there's a better player in the world. Okay, you maybe could, by the way, but we won't for now. We'll give them one part of the premise to make the point that we're trying to say here. Then we'll go and we'll think about some other years of Faker's career, because I actually was there and I am the esports historian. By the way, I've done my own videos about he's the greatest player, he's transcendent, but eventually time caught up. There were other players who were very good. So we'll go to like a few more years when he won the championships, etc., right? And see about Prime Faker, Prime Faker, my Prime Faker. I got my Prime Faker. Go to 2016, 2017. That's it. That's it. That's the end of Faker being the best player in the world, by the way. It ends in 2017. So it's 2013. We don't talk about 2014 when he was playing Xerath and Ziggs, and it just wasn't that good, and his team wasn't as good. 2015, he was benched and didn't even play in the final of spring, by the way. Did you know that? A lot of people don't know that detail. They chose to play Easy Hoon because they preferred how he played on champions like Azir. Faker later became one of the best Azirs of all time, and now he just fucking mains it himself. Now he is Easy Hoon, but he's obviously way better captain. You go look at the finals here. In the finals, Easy Hoon played all 3 games to win the championship against what became Rock's Tigers. Faker just sat on the bench. Sat on the bench. Now, he did save them against CG Enters, but he sat on the bench in the final. By the way, if you don't even play the final, all the Messi fans tell me that Ronaldo doesn't get to have a title if he didn't play the final or he didn't score. So why does this title count for Faker again? I personally believe it's the campaign, but this should diminish a little bit because your coach benched you. I actually did a video saying I thought that Coma was ruining esports history by not letting Faker play. So in 2015, think about who else is in the league. I wouldn't say anyone over here is, but if we go to the LPL, go to the LPL for 2015. In the LPL, I think you could already make a case at this point in time that Deft was a contender for best player in the world. Sadly, they didn't do MVPs always back here and all pro, etc. Or they usually did the stats. Let's have a look at the stats. They did usually do like KDA or something. Let's go and look. This is when the LPL got the top, like not just the 2 Samsung teams. They got a bunch of Najin players and even some players from other squads too. CJ Flame, etc. They had some insane players over here. Deft, what are we going to do here? Oh, it's by role I want though. Bot. These can all just be videos. I probably should have just done these as videos myself, right? We'll wait for a second. Unfortunately, because this database is actually a little bit dodgy to search, it takes a little bit of time to load up. We'll quickly have a look here, though. Let's go down to here. We'll do this already. Save a bit of time, shall we? All right, these are just bot players. On KDA, San only played 3 games. Deft has the highest KDA in the league. Highest win rate. One of the highest... Second... Oh, that die doesn't get the count, so is it 8.48? He has the highest CS per minute. It didn't do the gold share and all that. It just couldn't track it back then. You could already make the case in a league full of good ADCs, stacked teams. Deft also could be contender for best in the world. Because he's a contender, it doesn't get to count. So Faker doesn't get to be the best player in 2015. Look, I'd say he was still the best player, but if there's any margin to a moron, because you have to decide the case, not argue it, then there's no discussion. So we've got 1 year for Faker so far, 2013. Now we're going to go to 2016, and I'm just going to explain something to you. When this tournament was won by the Rocks Tigers, because KT Roaster, let me show you KT Roaster's lineup, with Fly, Arrow, Hachani, and Someday, right? Someday and Arrow are probably more famous playing LCS at this point in time. They had Score, who was truly world class. Hachani was a joke who even came to like LEC or whatever. And Fly was the mid laner. You might not even remember this guy. You probably think I'm talking about the guy from Rockhat. That lineup beat SKT 3-2. The same SKT that this year wins Worlds. Beat them 3-2. And then they themselves lost to Rocks Tigers in the final. And do you know what this guy here, Smeb? A lot of people said, he's the best player in the world. He's the best player in Korea. Best player that's a spicy meatball. He won the MVP. Faker isn't even up there, by the way. Why is that? By the way, I've never liked this system where you got MVP for just having the most player of the game awards, but Smeb was like a shot caller, hard carry, blah, 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 everything from top lane. He was the god top laner. He was the heir to fucking Flame. I don't even think they did all pro back then, sadly. 2017, this is when they won Spring over the KT Super Team. Then they won MSI. And then they, with Hooney and all that shit, and they used to have Blank back then. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. Bengi didn't win that MSI, didn't even play. This is when SKT had Peanut and Blank. Oh, that's actually the year before I'm thinking of, when they won 2016 with Blank. They had Peanut and Blank, so there was no Bengi at this point in time. If you go to the other rosters here, in summer, BDD comes with Longju, but at the moment it's still Fly over there. And if you look at the other players in the league, let's go look at what the MVP was Crown on Samsung. You could have made a case at the time that Crown was better than Faker. But because he's Faker, people already start with he can't be anything but the best. But that 1 year, early on, because remember, he was sick in 2016. Actually, early on, he was still really sick. It's just after that, Crown fell apart as the splits. And by the time he got the Worlds, he was a bot. He played Malzahar. One of the worst players to win Worlds. He was still a stud at this point in time. He was still a stud. But if someone's even contending Faker's role, there's no way he could be the best. By the way, here's what I didn't tell you. Should we go back to that LPL? I got some bad news for you. I'm going to do that video one day, by the way, about Rookie. Because I need to explain it to you, contrasted to Faker. I've got some bad news for you, boys. If you go to the LPL and you go to 2016 and 2017, watch this. We're going to look at IG. By the way, IG's roster fucking sucked. The Shy wasn't even playing all the games in 2017. If we go to Rookie, watch this. Because you didn't watch the LPL back then. You didn't watch the regular season. So you have no idea how sick this guy was. Watch this down here when I go down to here. Aside from the fact he's like breaking all these records. Blah, 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 blah. Spring 2016 MVP. You could make the case Rookie was a better mid laner than Faker at this point in time. Faker wasn't at his absolute peak at this time. He was very clutch and he was still extremely good and an elite player. Do the 2017 one, shall we? What would happen is this. We'll just do this very briefly. IG could lose to Newbie. And Rookie just did everything he could. And these fucking bombs would just shit the bed. Look at his bot lane, Kid and Megan. Megan who? Fox. This is Transformers from 15 years ago, you twat. And then beyond that, by the way, season 8 onwards, which is another half of their career, it's not even close. Rookie was, by the way, like a top 3-4 mid laner at times, like in the spring of, or one of the splits of each of the last 3 or 4 years. He's still elite. Can still have mad pop-off games on Zeri and Ezreal and shit. Faker can't do that. Faker's fucking limiting their draft and band-aiding it. It's fucking insane. So, right, every other year, Faker isn't even the best. So by his logic, Faker was the best for 1 year, undisputed. I don't think it's even debatable, but undisputed. So Leo can't ever be number 1 because people could say someone else was better than him. Brilliant. 100 points. Greenwall Optic fan, so probably from fucking COD. And yes, tell me in 2014, Valorant fans, what the career of Faker in 2013 onwards was like. League of Legends. Tell me more. I noticed the less someone knows about a great sportsman or esports star, the more they know that they were the best ever and no one else was close and everyone else was a bomb. You're a bomb. Back in the league, T1 against Nongshim. Remember this? Fucking hell. Luckily, it hasn't showed any of my tags yet, but it's getting close every time, boys. We'll do the Q&A after this, by the way. I'm getting bored of this myself. We can just do more of this another day, can't we? This was where Nongshim, fucking Nongshim, 2-0'd T1. Faker on Aurora. Yeah, Fisher, shitter Fisher from EDG. Banging on him with Yone. Faker on Corky. Yone. Banging on him. The comment goes, I wouldn't be surprised if Faker was the one that didn't want to rest. Honestly, what can T1 management do if Faker's against it? Right, if Faker smashes his head off a wall and then he goes, I don't want to rest. Well, what can T1 management do if Faker's against it? He doesn't own the org. He gets paid millions of dollars. He does whatever the fuck they tell him to do, pal. And I can tell you right now, you're thinking of it like American sports. Like LeBron can do anything. Who can stop LeBron and all the millions of dollars in the deal? No. In Korean culture, Faker will never have authority over his bosses, the league, or League of Legends and Riot itself. Never in a million years. No matter how many titles he wins, no matter how excellent he is, he will never have that because that's not the way the hierarchy works. That's like thinking a massive K-pop star. Why would they be suicidal? They could just say whatever they want and go and get a contract. No, they couldn't. They could even be blacklisted out the whole industry, even if they were massive, because that's how the industry works. Learn what the fuck you're talking about. 115 points. Here's a good one. What can T1 do? They can bench him. This guy goes, that's brand suicide, 15 points. He's literally Faker. They already did bench him when he was injured, you fucking imbecile. Also, he is part owner of T1 as well. He's doing that thing where if you own a tiny bit of stock, you just own the whole org. Like this guy would come in, he'd buy 0.1% of a company. He'd walk into the boardroom, make way. Lex Luthor just did a hostile takeover of your fucking company. Put his feet up on the bed. Right, sales division. They're like, security. Hey, I'm an owner of this company. I own this. I tell you what to do. Fucking moron. This is a good one. Cadril and Shocks announce the League Awards, because obviously the Esports Awards, no one can give a fuck anymore because it's bought by Saudi in it and they can't even basically do the Journalist of the Year award. Although I heard they might still do it, but just not hold it in Middle East and just have it in London or something because, it's weird. Why would you be doing that though? If it's totally safe to go to Saudi Arabia as a journalist, why would you need to hold that one separately? 2 reasons. One, they got sick of people like me and Richard Lewis getting on the mic and actually like sort of speaking truth to power because that's dangerous. That room's full of power. It's owned by power. It's funded funded by power. You need power to buy tables at the awards, otherwise there's no way to generate the revenue to actually run the award. That's why I would allege sometimes you reach out to people, massive people, and go, you've won an award, would you like to come? And when they go, sorry, I'm not available, they go, oh, okay. And then magically on the night, someone else wins that award who actually turned up, some other streamer, some other massive company. Because you need Twitch, Riot Games, and a bunch of the Hex all to come along so that you can go and see it. They started their own awards. By the way, I will just say this. So far, I haven't really got a reason to, but all I'll say is this. She never went crazy, but I'll tell you what, Shox was in on that Neon boycott. She made a tweet about it. So for now, here's the thing. When people haven't particularly been cruel, I tend to leave them be generally. But I'll tell you what, it'll always be on the docket. You know, let's just see how it goes. So when they make it, right, a thread about Cadril and Shox with thousands of comments and 161 comments over 2,000 points, 161 comments, right? What would I have to do with the League Awards or Cadril and Shox, right? Nothing, right? There's no way me or Monte would ever come up in this awards. After all, there's only 161 comments. It's a great idea to do your own awards, right? They're probably some of the best people who could do it. Be a bit crazy if for some reason Obsessive started going on about us. Shout out to Oligo Paulie, subscribe for a month. So this guy goes 53 points, by the way. If they decide to make an award called Dade Award, pause, why would they do that? Why wouldn't they, when they make their own awards, just make an award for what the Dade Award was? The biggest letdown of the year, who was hyped. Could you call it that, couldn't you? No. What you're going to find out is, even though it's so simple and we never invented it, you can't just call it something else because we made a sick name and you want to steal our sick name. This isn't like, by the way, when Travis did his own quiz that was like Pop Quiz. He didn't steal that. He didn't call it Travis's Pop Quiz, did he? He just took the concept of doing a quiz. By the way, LEC didn't invent that. And then he just made his own. That's totally fine. You could do that. Make an award, most overrated player most overrated player. There you go. That was what it'd be. But this guy goes, fantasy scenario. The thing about lunatics is, like the fighting one, they make a fantasy scenario that didn't happen. Then model your character inside their fantasy world. Make it do stupid things always. Say stupid things, do stupid things, be a moron. They get mad at the fantasy version of you. They just created in their head a straw man. And then as they get mad, they spew shite onto the internet. And they think like, haha, this makes sense. And dickheads upvoted to 53 points. So he goes, I absolutely guarantee you, he just knows our minds to that degree. He knows what would happen. I guarantee you that Monte Cristo will crawl out of his hole. That doesn't the wording give everything away? By his hole, do you mean the mega apartment that he lives in Korea? Or do you mean, like, figuratively, like he's just in a hole in esports? Because he isn't. Like, not only is he one of the owners of Last Free Nation, which is, like, literally the biggest podcast network in all of esports. By the way, it makes 6 figures revenue for all of our sponsors each year. Has, 8 to 10 sponsors so far. Also, this is a guy who still makes a healthy living. He streams, he does the content, he consults with people behind the scenes. He also, by the way, does one of the most popular podcast in the history of League of Legends, the game you are talking about. It still exists to this day and gets like 30 to 50k views every episode, even though we aren't the Dive. We're not promoted by Riot. We're never going to be in the client, etc. We don't even have guests on it anymore. We still get the views. It's just me and Monte. I was never a pro player. League wasn't even ever my main game. Monte was a coach and a caster at this point in time, like 7-8 years ago or something. And still it's enormous. But no, unlike I had that username, we live in a hole because he doesn't like us. Therefore, we're bad. Therefore, bad people can't ever have success or succeed in life because that makes sense. And we obviously live in a hole. I mean, we're probably destitute. I mean, Monte's probably like fucking Diogenes the Cynic. He's probably in a fucking barrel somewhere in fucking Athens or something, right? I guess that's the only logic that we're going with here. So then he goes, to tell everyone, get ready for what we now say in his fancy. Actually, the Dade Award was created by me and Thorin, so only we can award it to people. What a pathetic, stupid thing for us to say. To say an award we invented on our talk show, a show that's so iconic, it's still watched to this day, and loads of players wish they could come on as guests, but we just don't do guests anymore. We do them on the other shows. And something we made up in 2014 is so iconic in 2024, you're still talking about it. But remember, because we're bad people who live in a hole, we can never even get checks notes the basic credit of being referenced that we invented it. Instead, other people should make an award where they could just take off our pithy title and put on the title, because nobody knows who Dade is now, put on the title most over. But no, they shouldn't. They should steal our name, and then we'd be dickheads if we went, well, actually, we invented that name, so only we can award it to people. And in fact, he's even trying to infer, because he's so stupid, that if you made an award like that we'd be saying, like, you can't award that because we now control awards. No, we control that name, you cretin. No, don't worry, though. It gets worse. It actually gets worse. Then a guy goes, totally reasonable person, right? 72 points. He goes, they created it and still hand it out at the end of the year currently. It would be weird to steal an award from someone and then there be two of them from different people. What a fucking incredibly logical statement to make, eh? And he goes, dislike them all you want, but it'd be weird as fuck to just steal an award from SI while they're still giving it out. Oh, don't worry, we're just going to find out how mental this guy is. So double down and still get 21 points. Encouraged and incentivized to be mental, because that's how bad the shitters on this Reddit forum are. Don't worry, some of them are bots / NPCs / not real. Some of them don't have a soul. So this guy goes, well, yes, but you're missing a lot of context. Oh, do tell us context. Do this thing where you rewrite history as it happened in your brain. Monte Cristo and Thorin coined the term and they awarded people. What would they be doing shitter? Yes, we award. Why is awarded in fucking quotes like that? It's because to a moron, they think putting it in quotes means it's like they're sarcastic. Oh, you awarded it to someone. Yeah, unsurprisingly, we didn't send Dade a fucking Razzie statue to him in Korea. Like, yeah, there you go, mate. Enjoy that, fuckface. We're making fun of you in the West. You cretin. By the way, are you actually implying they're going to send a physical... By the way, even the idea at the League Awards, they're going to make one abusing fucking people and being rude to them. And then they're going to send them a fucking trophy. You're the one fucking... Why'd your neck in, you dizzy cunt? Then it goes, awarded people every year from 2013 to 2016. Oh, wait, we've got a historian on our hands here, guys. You know, I'm something of a totally fake historian myself. Then in 2017, Monte Cristo left LOL for Overwatch, claiming it would overtake LOL. That was never, ever something he ever said. Notice how down here there's all like links, tweets. Why is there not a link there? Wouldn't that be an incredibly popular video for everyone to dunk on, claiming it would overtake LOL? You know why I know he didn't say that? Because it would have been an insane thing to say. LOL's the only truly global game that had full access to every single region. It was still number one in Korea the majority of the time. It went down for like, what, maybe a week or a few months or something. So already he's made up a complete fabrication and lie because he's mentally ill. And then he goes, and vowed to never be back unless Riot apologised to him. Now, again, he's lied, because what he's done is take a quote from that Blitz, turned out later to have been funded by Riot, that Blitz esports interview. Oh, no, sorry, it's with the Loco Doco interview at LCS, where when we went to LCS, me and Monte, Loco said, would you work for Riot again as a caster? One, he didn't work for Riot. He worked for OGN, LCK. That wasn't even Riot career at the time. And two, he was just answering, would he work for Riot, basically? And he said no, unless they apologised to him for how they treated him, with forcing him to sell his team based on no evidence, and they've never had a shred of evidence ever. He never, ever said he would never be back in League of Legends. You made up a lie there because you're mentally ill. And again, no link. No link to the juiciest things you're putting onto the screen. So for all intents and purposes, when a moron says that, basically, essentially, the gist of it is, what they mean is, I'm now going to further pervert all of that and just say some absolute shite. So for all intents and purposes, the award was indefinitely shelved. Right, you see what for all intents and purposes did there? Because Monte went to Overwatch in 2017, that means that basically we just shelved the award indefinitely. It was never to be unshelved. I would have remembered saying that. I was still doing talk show. Notice he doesn't mention that I was still doing League of Legends at the time. Did I ever reference on Twitter who would have won a larger award? Did I ever reference on any shows? He wouldn't fucking know. This is all happening inside his mind. His fucking Reddit account is a Charlie Kaufman movie, mate. We don't know if any of it's real. It could all just be a dream. He could be imagining the whole thing. He might even be both accounts talking to himself. Then he goes, Gets ready for more justification. Because the concept was still popular, right? So us guys who live in a hole are irrelevant and no one gives a fuck about, you're talking about 10 years later. Our concepts are so iconic, they're still popular 10 years later. And even when Monte's not doing it anymore. The award eventually, get ready for this, he just makes this up completely. The award eventually morphed into a meme and community discussion topic. It didn't. It didn't. What happened is people just commented because we hadn't given it out those years on who they thought should win it. But that never made it the official winner because it's our award. They could have said who was the most overrated player, who was the most hyped. They could have done that all day long and yeah, they have nothing to do with us. But he just gets to decide that the community can morph things into memes. Okay, brilliant. At the end of each Worlds, people discussed all over stuff like Reddit, talk shows, podcasts, etc. Oh, talk shows and podcasts. I mean, I do the most talk shows and podcasts in League of Legends, so did I ever discuss that? Notice I'm not mentioned in this. I'm one of the creators, as he points out, but it's never mentioned whether I kept doing it or talking about it. That is strange, isn't it? About who deserved it the most. I encourage you to search, he encourages other people to do research. I encourage you to search up Dade Award on YouTube or Reddit, and you'll see that the concept really morphed. Just keep saying morphed. Just keep saying morphed. If you say morphed, it's just whatever you want happened. Hey, okay, well, I'm just morphed. He's morphing. He's having a morphin. He's fucking Morbius. He's the Mighty Morphin fucking Dade Award winner. It's fucking mental, isn't it? And he goes, really morphed after 2016. I like the way he's trying to make this like he's some sort of historian of the fucking Dade Award. It's so mental, isn't it? And then he goes, meanwhile, Monte was showing no interest in the game whatsoever. How do you know that? I know Monte, by the way. Do you know that he had no interest in it whatsoever? Did I not ever talk to him behind the scenes about it or anything? Did I not even one time bring him out of like semi-retirement? Let's go see what year that was. You know, remember, Monte was showing no interest in league. By the way, he literally worked for a rival esports league, a franchise league at that. And so technically, if he wasn't such a G like I am, then basically, he probably should, quite frankly, have just not even done league content. I doubt Blizzard was happy. So let's put like Monte Cristo, Narrative Wake. Narrative Wake, maybe? Narrative Wake, let's have a look. Okay, so, that's interesting. 6 years ago, let's have a quick look. 6 years ago? Nah, it can't be. 2018. You said in 2017 he left completely, vowed never to come back in any context. In this case, even doing talk shows. Oh, what's that? That's a lie. Just a blatant lie. I've just proven, using science that's nonsense. And then also you said that he showing no interest in the game whatsoever, which is why he, 1 year later, was doing a show with me and Kelsey Moser talking about why Samsung White was so great as he worked for a rival league in a rival game. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh no. Evidence. Oh shit, evidence. Oh, what's that? He even did another one. No, there's no way he could have done a second. He wouldn't do 2 videos, guys. He wouldn't do it.
This is free.
He wouldn't do it. He would not do it. That wouldn't happen. Oh, what's that? End of 2019, before we even started Summoning Insight again. He came back again for Narrative Week, this time to talk about super teams and contrast them. Are you ready? And the contrast of teams in the recent World Final. So in 2018, he did one. And in 2019, he did a show and he talked about the recent Worlds Final. Oh, that's right. Because that's when also, you forgot this before Summoning Insight, we did it for the fucking, whatever you call it, like the Nines or whatever, and actually took it to a studio where they filmed the NFL Red Zone to do our fucking podcast. That's so iconic, people pay for that. But let's keep going. And never commented on any of this. Oh, didn't he? Oh, my bad. Oh, okay, cool. Right. He never. So there were community-led efforts. There was no community. It's a dickhead like you just posting something on the internet and then just making shit up and going, oh, you know what? I'm fucking morphing that. Oh, bloody morphing. Oh, morphing. We're all just morphing. Everything. So here's the thing. He doesn't even need the fucking Infinity Gauntlet. He doesn't need that reality story. He's just like, when I'm morphing, anything can be what I want it to be. Are you ready? And he goes, so community-led efforts to award it, even that's fake, award it to keep it going. All right, you just get to take our concepts and keep them going. Oh, brilliant, cool. Although obviously in an unofficial manner, right? Well, which is it? If it's unofficial, anyone can say it's my version of it. Yeah, everyone can do that. But you've claimed actually that's not what happened. We originally owned it and coined it, but then it morphed into something the community had. So I put unofficial. And by the way, still, after all you've explained, why would it be unreasonable for Monte to dare to crawl out of his hole, aka just make a tweet and go, by the way, we actually invented that award, so we're the only ones who can give out that award. Feel free to give out your own awards, but we give out that award. Yeah, what an arsehole, eh? I mean, think about that. If he actually had ownership and knew what he was talking about, and then he said a comment on the internet, as opposed to you, a deeply unwell human being who's now posting paragraph after paragraph about why we aren't allowed to have our own award because it be morphing, innit? It's just morphing all the fucking... At least it makes me laugh. Eventually, here we go, more lies. Eventually, after years of not caring about the game, towards the end of 2019, well, we already showed you in 2018 he did a podcast. In fact, you know what? Did he even do one more? I think I could probably find another one. Watch. I reckon he'll have done a Listen Local fight, I guess. I mean, to be fair, Loco is an idiot and did just put that, which definitely isn't what he said, by the way, if you go and listen to it. You see it all here. Oh, what's that? No, couldn't be, guys. Couldn't be. Remember, he showed no signs of watching or caring about the game. He was just off in Overwatch, saying it would be bigger than League and he'll never come back. And as Riot apologises and everyone starts morphing. I guess unless Riot morphs into a different company and then apologises. So let's have a look what year. Can you already guess based on the timestamp, guys? Remember, never showed any interest at all about, I don't know, Worlds. So he was talking about 2019 Worlds. He contrasted... back in 2018, Samsung White. And then let's have a look at this. What's that? End of October 20... So he's already on his second podcast just with me in 2018. And he's talking about... Oh, actually, wait a second. Oh, no, this is it. TSM at Worlds. The history of TSM performing at Worlds. Because obviously, they're going to this Worlds in 2018. No, they didn't actually. That's the year they didn't make it. Oh, that'll be why then. It's because they didn't make it that year. That was obviously this Venom Mythy year, wasn't it? It's weird that, isn't it? That's another piece of evidence of Monte. It's weird that. He's even in his house in LA where he did Overwatch League. But there he is again. Just doing more League of Legends stuff. That's weird. Weird how that works, isn't it? Right. Let's keep going. Eventually, after years of not caring about the game, by the way, years, towards the end of 2019, so by your logic, it would have only been almost 2 years. But no, you've just lied. Years of not caring about the game. You just made that up. You wanted him to be that person, so you created it, and then you started talking about that on the internet. Monte decided to leave Overwatch and return to League. Notice he's intentionally put return to League in the weird, vague concept that earlier he said that he would never be back unless Riot apologised to him. That's not true. You can go watch that local interview, by the way. It's not at all true. He never said he won't make podcasts again. He just won't, be a full-time caster and work on Worlds and MSI, you fucking moron. I guess in that context, he did work for Riot when he was at the international tournaments, right? Are you ready? Around that time, he suddenly tweeted that the community didn't have the authority to give out the award. Oh, right, I'm sorry, I didn't know there was actually a statute of limitations on when he was allowed to tweet about people using things that are his, that he invented, and that there's no reason for them to copy, even if they think it's a cool name. If Nike stops making trainers for 2 years, can I just make my own with that fucking Nike tick and just go, but you weren't using it, so we'd be morphing it. You gave it up. This is an unofficial Nike. That's not how it works, is it, you fucking cretin? Most of the community, get ready, he's now going to tell you what most of the League of Legends community thought. Are you ready? Most of the community thought the tweet was unnecessarily adversarial. Yeah, how dare he be adversarial and say people can't use his award. By the way, when he says can't use, he has no enforcement. He doesn't have a secret Stasi or fucking, what do they call it, checker that comes around and smashes your head and puts you in prison and tortures you. He just says, I invented it, so you can't use it. And if you accept his authority, then he can't use it, can he? He's not going to sue you because you did a Dade award, you cretin. Now, what's great is, I've no doubt if I do click on this, it'll be an insane thread where people just pathetically attack Monte all the time. Maybe I'll do like Thorin versus Monte haters and show you how demented those people are. Bear in mind, he's never said anything politically edgy ever in his life. And a very weird, it's really weird when you come back to League of Legends, which you never totally left, to then see people just using your thing you invented and go, hey, I invented that and I was the one who gave it out. What? How weird. It's fucking weird. That's like that shit politically now where the people with like a nose ring, like an actual chain connected to the end of their dick with a Prince Albert in, who are literally like, oh, here's the things I like to do with my arse in public. And then they go, look at that Family Guy who went to school. It's fucking weird. Oh, look how weird he is. What is this, an episode of Mean Girls, you daft fuck? Oh, is Monte trying to make Fetch, aka the Dade Award, a thing, even though you acknowledge it's a thing and was from 2014 and became a massive thing? By the way, my favourite one is that as well, like, about when we awarded it. But let's keep going. For someone who seemingly did not care about the game for all that time, I've just proven to you he did. You needed it to be. This is like the dickhead who has a PlayStation and he goes, oh, you have an N64. You must hate all the PlayStation games and be so jealous of me with fucking, I know this is dated, Tomb Raider and fucking Wipeout 2097 and Crash Bandicoot. And then you expect me to go, well, no, because I've got fucking F-Zero X and Mario 64 and fucking Zelda, haven't I? So I'm better than you. And instead, I'm just a guy who was like, I don't care, mate. I've got the N64 and the PlayStation. Anyway, see you, dickhead. Enjoy Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon. I'll just go play Mario 64 and Crash Bandicoot when I feel like it, but not Spyro the Dragon, because I've got a much better console. That's 64-bit, yours is 32-bit. But I also have the 32-bit one as well, so I'll be playing those games as well. You need it to be that, like, oh, you have an Android, dear. Fucking look how weird this cunt is. I've got an iPhone. I'm better than him. I'm just so better than him. And I've just shown you he lied. He didn't care about the game for all that time. How do you know what he fucking thought, you moron? He said the reason he left is because how shit Riot was and they took his gig in fucking Korea and gave it those shitter channels. It seemed like he was just, now he's just going to explain what Monte's psychology was. It seemed like he was just trying to claw back relevancy. He's so relevant. You say he was washed and disappeared forever to never return. And in 2024, you're talking about this in 2019, 4+ years later, you're still talking about it and getting updates for it, my dude. No one's going, who's Monte? Who's Monte and Dade? But no, when he comments on something, because he's not allowed to talk. This is, by the way, translation is, Monte, don't ever speak if I don't like you. And if you do, you're pathetic, irrelevant, and crawling out to claw back relevancy. Let's just see how much relevancy Monte needs to claw. So Monte Cristo, just the 246,000 followers. But he has to claw back some relevancy. Like, I don't know, someone posting to get 21 points. I wonder who'd be more relevant. I had that username, 21 points, or Monte Cristo, 246k followers. Let's look at Monte's most recent tweet. It was from 4 hours ago. It has 500 likes, my dude. It was saw by 41k people. It has 28 retweets. Your whole post has 21 points. Let me guess. I can already see by quickly that we're not allowed to have anything else either. So no doubt that'll happen. Most of the... Yeah, we did that one already. It seemed like he was just trying to claw back relevancy over something trivial. So trivial, you can't just give it up. You can't just call it something else and let it go, even though we're irrelevant and have no relevancy. Because you like it, you must steal it from us. And it wasn't like the concept of the award was something groundbreaking that deserved some sort of trademark. Oh, you get to decide now whether we can have a name. And since it's not groundbreaking, why do you need to use the name? Oh, because it was groundbreaking and it's better than calling it the most overrated player award. And so as a result, yeah, people actually do think that the name's so sick, they almost treat it like a trademark years later. Get ready, it's more bollocks. Comparatively, yeah, I can imagine this guy's going to make a really good comparison. It was as if you could not say someone insect kicked or flame horizoned another player. Get ready, this is the worst analogy ever. Just because other people coined the term first, right? Can anyone see the difference between saying an insect kick or flame horizoning? You saying, oh, someone did that. That's, by his logic, to make the same analogy, it would be like if Monte said that you mentioned that we gave the Dade Award to Dade, and he went, hey, you can't say we gave the award to him, only we can say we gave the award to him. No, sorry, you can't say we gave it to him. Only we can say we gave it to him. That would be the same concept. This instead is something totally different because an insect kick isn't an award given out by us, is it? It's just a term someone used that was cool. Flame horizoning isn't an award created by us that only we can give out. It's just a concept, again, that people can use. And also, the irony of that is, I believe Monte did invent the term flame horizon. I'm not certain about that one. Maybe it was some Korean. Just because, I already heard that. Ultimately, by that point, another word doing all the heavy lifting, ultimately, by that point, it had become more than just an award given out by two guys. Or had it, but be morphing again, innit? Fucking hell. With this shit, stop morphing. I wish I'd put some pre- or de-morphing components into this and sort of protected myself. Maybe I should have got some sort of lawyer involved and said, listen, put it in the fine print, no morphing. I'm definitely not up for that morphing. And then it got a bit like he morphed the truth into this shite that was just factually wrong on almost every single level, as I've already shown you. This is just one fucking post, guys. It was seen as a common concept in the community. Oh, was it? Oh, cool. Okay. It's so trivial and irrelevant, but it just became a common concept in the whole community. All right. Sick. As the community mostly saw it, he just speaks for the whole community. He's the mouth of Sauron, a.k.a. r/League of Legends. He just be morphing what they say and what he thinks. It's just him saying his thoughts at this point in time. It's not even us, is it? And then he goes, it was an award that was dropped by someone who did not care about it. Right now, because he didn't care about League, he also, because he dropped it and didn't do it every year, that means he dropped it and said, fuck that, I'm tired of playing with you, Dade award. Threw fucking Woody away. And then, because he dropped it, one man's trash is another man's treasure. He comes along, picks it up, and it's just, because Monte didn't care about it. How do you know he didn't care about it? I mean, here's what would tell me he did care about it. If less than 2 years later, he just goes, hey, people are giving out Dade awards. That's my award. You can't give that out. Sounds like he cared about it, didn't he? But no. Let me guess. You've created a scenario which he's now like a liar or a hypocrite or a piece of shit for caring about that. Even though your own standard is, if he cared about it, then he'd have said to him about it. Oh, by the way, Yaska subscribed as well. Shodan Citadel. Cool name. System Shock, obviously. Notice how much juice I can get out of one post. This is why I'm going to have to do Thorin vs. Reddit each day, I can tell. Because this is how my brain works when I read Reddit. It's like an episode of Summoning Insight. You do know 100% of Summoning Insight the whole time is just off our dome because of our insane rapport and ability to talk about everything in League of Legends. But obviously we know nothing and can never learn and are not entertaining or funny and definitely don't live rent-free in this cunt's head. Then he goes, get ready, he was dropped by someone who did not care about it. And then picked up by the community who still cared. It's trivial and irrelevant, but the community still cares, even when Monte isn't there. So that because they've picked it up, it's now actually, again, with his analogy, he's created an object that when we drop by just not doing it 1 year, someone else picks it up. And now, get ready, this is mental. Now we're not allowed to own it anymore. Now, actually, it's them who own it. It's morphed into a community-led initiative or some fucking grassroots. But we're not allowed to actually take it back or even use it again. Because you know what? So, squatters' rights, we weren't using it, so they own it now. Possession's 9/10 of the law. We can't pick it up because they've physically got it. It's like the fucking ring in Lord of the Rings. Monty's Gollum, like, I must have my precious back. And you're like, get away from me, Gollum. Sting, keep him back. And then, by the way, the guy saying, wreck people live on stream, it wouldn't work, mate. I did 2 shows like that. I did a show called, Elitists on the Line, where I had Veteran talk to EU fans. And I did a show called The People versus LS, taking the line from that Kanye track. And I allowed people to call in to wreck them and own them. And about 1.5 people ever tried that. And everyone else just called in I'm actually just a fan and here's just a take it's a bit different. And all these pussies never even turned up and called in. Even though they would have had their chance right there. We weren't going to just block them and kick them. They could have said anything they wanted. They wouldn't do it because they're all fucking morons. So then it goes, only for the person who did not care, he's never established that he didn't care, to suddenly care again. Oh, fuck me. What an arsehole Monte is. Have you noticed how they be morphing the most basic human reactions and responses and things you could say into some sinister thing, and suddenly he cared again. Oh, I see, Dad. You walk back into my life after 18 years and now you care again. You make me sick. It's going to take a lot more than this fucking Orioles hat to win me over. Papa, you ain't my dad. Fucking Jamal is. We'll keep it going. We're almost done on this one. I could have done like a whole hour video on this, couldn't I? Since then, this is amazing. To my knowledge, fucking hell, finally he's acknowledged that some of the things he said are just based on his knowledge. Before he was just speaking like he was the narrator of Monte's life, like, most of the community thought Monte's tweet was unnecessarily adversarial and a weird thing for someone to say. Like, but now he's no longer in fucking Stranger Than Fiction and Monte's that character Will Ferrell played. Now he goes, since then, to my knowledge, I wouldn't want to get any facts wrong or anything. To my knowledge, they have officially, unofficial, we're official again. It was unofficial for a while when they did it, but we're official again. They have officially awarded it to someone just once. Are you ready? This is mental. Because he's now about to make the case that also, because we didn't award it, that meant we didn't care, as opposed to, are you ready? Maybe because we invented it, and the community has always misunderstood the premise. They always thought it was the worst player at Worlds. Never that. You had to already be very hyped as one of the best and then fail completely at Worlds. We always said some years someone doesn't actually get to win it. Some years we looked and there was no one appropriate to win it. I think even last year we said there wasn't actually anyone who could really win the award, was there? But no, because we didn't give it every year by our criteria, he's morphed the criteria and invented it. And us not giving it is the squatters' right thing again. It just means anyone could come and pick it up because we don't care. We've thrown it away. All that takes place inside his head. In other words, essentially, ultimately, the gist of it is, the long and the short, basically, in other words, how about just say the actual truth, you twat? Let's go bold. He's already written all that shite, but let's just bold this just to really wreck us. There has been one official Dade award for the last 7 Worlds. I think I've just explained why. There wasn't anyone appropriate to win it. Like, you might go, what about Tarzan last Worlds? Mate, he still got into the top 8 and lost to what I think is the best team of all time. Oh, what about Scout? He was fucking smurfing in the Swiss stage. What are we doing here? What is this? It's just fucking bollocks, mate. So your assertion, right, how dare this guy, you haven't asserted anything in your post. Your assertion that they still hand it out at the end of the year currently, well, we do when it's relevant. We define the criteria. You, after all that, don't even seem to know what the criteria ever was. Is a big representation, in my opinion. Oh, well, it'd be crazy to go on the internet and misrepresent someone. What a fucking weird thing to do that would be. It would almost be like you're clawing for relevance and that you yourself are just pathetic. All that said, well, fuck me. Thankfully, we've got out of the weeds here. All that said, I think Cajal would just be smart to not use the name. Cajal never had the idea to use the name. Cajal was never going to make this award. In fact, you're the one who invented the idea that they would make an award and call it the Dade Award. It all happened in your mind. And then people voted you inexplicably, like idiocracy. And you agree even with us that, even though what's weird is we didn't care, it became a community thing. It wasn't ours anymore. And it's weird to imply we have ownership and we don't even give it out, implying you can still take it again from us. So why not just use the name? It's trivial anyway, right? And then he goes, you can easily recycle the concept with another name and sidestep all the baggage of this term. Why not just do that then? Why not in your fantasy do that and then not just imagine all this happening? It never made any sense, bro, to give it in a league awards. It was never going to happen. This nutter just had it all happen in his brain. Oh, that's right. This guy, Nymera, actual caster. By the way, when I can tell you right now, when someone like him, famous, who has LPL, LGL expert, has 10 points, that means he was downvoted by these clowns. That's literally what it means. He came in, this guy almost certainly down, they all just downvoted him, mate. He goes, I think this is unfair. The protest they've normally had is that Dade Award just became the most disappointing worst player award, correct? Instead of it, that's why if you ever go and look, don't worry, this nutter probably wrote this page because they have a Leaguepedia page on our concept that's totally trivial and we're not even relevant and our relevance went out ages ago. So this guy goes, this is mega. The Dade Award is a community-created label assigned to the player who failed to deliver upon a broadcast, community, regional or personal hype or expectations at that year's World Championship more than any other that year. That's not even true. It's a community-created label. They mean in the sense that they think we're part of the community, but they've purposely phrased that as though the community made it. Then it goes from 20... this is what it was. He's just Googled it. Literally, he's just Googled this and rewritten this first paragraph as his post and pretended that was his... It's just plagiarism, because it's the same thing he said. From 2013 through to 2016, just like he said, and once more in 2021, it was awarded by Monte Cristo and Thorin on the show Summoning Insight. Holy shit, they've rewritten history. Probably this guy wrote it, because they've implied the community made the award, and then we gave the award on the show. It doesn't say we created it. We came up with the term, we coined it. Community discussion, this is a way you fake that we never created it. Community discussion about the award continues since Summoning Insight's cancellation. Oh, it was cancelled. I thought actually it just went inactive for a while. It actually morphed. It became a show called Oversight in Overwatch League. And then after that, I immediately brought it back with Monte. But this page only includes winners from the years that the show awarded it. Well, my God. That's weird, because it's a community thing. The community took it, and everyone in the community agrees, including all the people who contribute to this fucking wiki. They all agree that it's not our award. So why not just put your winners on there, guys? Why not just put the people you thought won? And you go down and see who won: Dade, Name, because we thought he was the best fucking ADC in the world. God V, aka Wayless, yep. Clearlove, of course, legendary player. Doin B, remember he fucked up that like insane group of death that, yes, it was a group of death for Cloud9 and for Rogue, but he should have been getting out of that. He was one of the best players in the world. Let me just Google again, because I'm actually pretty sure there will be like some Reddit thread of Dade one where they gave away like all the fake ones we never did. We never be doing, did we? I mean, I'll just show you also why we need to give the Dade one, by the way. So this guy does the same thing. Right, we can now pick the 2023 Dade Awards. The candidates are... He's even given the candidates sick. So he then tells us who the candidates are. He goes, LNG Scout, 0-3 against T1. I've just said Scout had a great Swiss system also. I guess he was quite hyped, but I mean, that doesn't mean he wasn't. By the way, Faker then got Player of the Year by your logic, so is it a problem to lose Player of the Year? LNG Tarzan... Did he fail by going to the quarters and losing against T1? World champions, by the way, this year. KT Keane. By the way, KT Keane actually did have some dodgy games. But who the fuck ever said Keane was like a god or something? Monte might have, but other people didn't. He was actually underrated. Chovy, who, by the way, carried 2 of these games and was excellent in the Swiss system and 3-0'd, just because he lost to BLG. Just losing. Remember, a famous player loses, so therefore he is the Dade Award winner. Whiskit subscribed. Thorin, who no one ever said was like best top, not even never in no universe, because again, these people don't know what the Dade Award is. Broken Blade, like fucking Broken Blade. What? Why would Broken Blade get the Dade Award? He's not one of the best players in the world. We should not give, you've just said we can pick. We should not give any Dade Awards to people who at least went to semi-finals unless they are uncontested first pick. Right, he's just making up rules. He's morphing the rules, isn't he? Even Monte's official 5 award winners does not have a person who went to at least the semis. Yeah, they're all the fucking group stage merchants, you cretin. Write your pick and reasons. This is most likely to be Chovy versus Scout versus Keane, but other opinions are welcome. Oh, you welcome other opinions when you're just giving shit out. And then, yeah, people just start giving this shit and saying Chovy got gapped and Scout got gapped and people win awards. Let's look at some other threads. Dade Awards. This was a year ago. Nobody has earned it. The top comment is someone saying nobody has earned it yet. But if we don't give one out, that means we don't care anymore. We've dropped it, cancelled it indefinitely or whatever, and then you can just pick it up. Who gets the Dade Award this year? Notice how constantly it's people just doing this, by the way, constantly. By the way, a JDG player should win the fucking Dade Award. This is the year, by the way, because it says a year ago. I mean, I guess it's 2022. Right, TES it could have been. I believe actually we give it to, I think I said it went to Tian. I'm amazed that has never been put onto the website. I'm pretty sure I said Tian should be the winner of the Dade Award. Is it JDG, who made top 8, or top 4 even, or Genji, who also made top 4, just because you don't like their players? Okay, cool. Here's one. Throughout LOL, which are the biggest Dade Award teams? Not a bad concept, by the way. Dade and Zika Award. Oh, Zika Award. Cool, okay. Now that Worlds has ended, who do you think deserved the Dade and Zika Award? I don't know who Dade is. Just Google it, you fucking idiot. Amazing, isn't it? Are you ready? Let's just find out what someone who doesn't know about Dade thinks about the Dade Award. But for what I understand, brilliant, we have to go to the level of your understanding. Dade Award is referred to the player who should have some expectations, the highest expectations, but underperformed at Worlds, not underperformed, did really badly. Whereas I don't know if Zika Award is even a term. You don't know shit about anything, but he did perform averagely in LCK and suddenly became one of the best players at Worlds last year. It gets better. It actually gets better. In my opinion, there's a million threads about Dade Award. I just picked some out randomly. I didn't even know what they were going to say just to show you. In my opinion, though I didn't watch the LPL, He's giving awards out to people he acknowledges. They have to be really, he even says there, some expectations. But he didn't watch this player, so you have no clue whether they did or not. I heard that Tarzan, he just heard. Mate, he's acting like this is way back in the day. And it's like, there isn't even the internet. And it's just like, where some shit's like a friend of yours saw a movie or saw a baseball game and you didn't get to see it or catch the highlights. Like, I've heard that. Like, fucking, he struck out on the third inning or whatever. Like, you wouldn't believe there was like a fight on the fucking pitches. Fucking, I've heard in that movie. Like, fucking Batman kills the Joker. It's bloody insane, mate. He's like on the playground here and so, I've heard his fucking dad. His dad's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, no, honest. Look, he's a cool kid. He wouldn't lie to us. He's just hearing shit and passing it on. He's fucking playing game of telephone. Right, Dade and Zika Award, pass it on. Snaggy and Beakerball. Oh, what's Snaggy and Beakerball? I heard that Tarzan was really insane together with Scout, but he just didn't perform this Worlds. Only in one series, but okay. So I guess Dade Award goes to him. Yes, take a guess. And in my opinion, Orna deserves the Zika Award, as he didn't really perform well in summer. Now it's just about Orny Summer Split. Okay, didn't know that. And the first two games, by the way, fucking Orna won Worlds this year. Orna won Worlds this year, and he's getting the Zika Award, okay. I don't know that he actually leveled. By the way, he wasn't even that insane at this Worlds. It was people like Zeus and then maybe a few Guma games. But after the C9 game, he suddenly became one of the best jungler at Worlds. By the way, surely Orna was always one of the best jungler at Worlds, before and afterwards. Like, surely he'd been top 5 and was even improving it. I notice he hasn't actually told us whether he watches LCK. Who knows? This guy tries to explain it. Then morons should start giving the award out. Cool. We won't do too many more. That's good enough as it is. This is brilliant. Let's just look at this, even though it's got downvoted. Is most disappointing player not equal to huge underperformance from a superstar? You made it slightly different already, haven't you? Not always. Sometimes there's not a big enough underperformance. Naimira, fan of the show, gets it. Actual caster who works in League of Legends. Sometimes the underperformance is from a middling or just good player instead of a pre-tournament favourite or the like. I like these ones. Not a huge fan of Monte in recent years. You don't even have to put that. But he is right in that regard. They were the ones who named it and awarded it in the first place. I mean, if I created something and someone steals it, I'd call it out. Yeah, it's not really weird, is it? Wow, your hate boner is so strong, you don't realise how weird it would be to steal someone's name / idea for an award, and how reasonable it would be to comment if your award was stolen. We've nailed it. We've actually nailed it. This guy here on .esports does like a history of the Dade Award in 2022. He talks about it all here. He mentions that we were the ones who conceived of it and gave it out on Summoning Insight. And then he gives the ones that we gave it to. And then he says, in 2017, Summoning Insight stopped giving out the Dade Award officially. The league, well, no, there just wasn't any winners, but okay. The league community still pays tribute. That's fair. You can pay tribute to the award unofficially. Totally fine. Usually a consensus is formed on the League of Legends subreddit, as though that's plausible. You all tell me that there's no consensus when people write comments and get upvoted. You told me, even though it's by definition a consensus generator. And then you go, and throughout the league player base on social media, despite the award being semi-shelved by its original creators, this is in 2022, by the way, we've given it out in 2021. You said it was stopped being given out officially, and then it was semi-shelved. I guess we didn't give it out every year. The problem is there really was winners every year, but there wasn't after that. It still garners attention. So here are the unofficial ones, as in just based off stupid fucking Reddit posts. Oh, don't worry. The guy who you think we're all hating on the LCS just says that we shouldn't be allowed to have the Dade award. I mean, he's right in this sense, because he is right, that everyone just gives it to really stupid players like Ruler and Nagori. Like, it just means nothing at that point in time. The Dade award came under fire in 2019 after it was bestowed upon Damwon's Nagori. So Nagori made quarterfinals. Because he lost to G2, he gets the Dade award. That's what the community did. Then in 2018, Ruler, who hard carried Gen G, as they were then called, changing from Samsung, to Worlds when they were dog shit in LCK, just because he then got knocked out in the group stage, he gets the Dade award. And then this one's mental too. In 2017, Khan, who smurfed the group and made it to the round of 8, but then lost to Samsung, who won Worlds, he gets the Dade award. Do you see yet why you guys are shit at giving out Dade awards? And then TSM Bjergsen gets it in 2017, even though everyone I know still claims that TSM Bjergsen was good on TSM. I don't. But who the fuck ever hyped him as one of the best in the world? Only people like Quickshot in 2015. Monte even clarified it doesn't need to be given out every year. So hence it wasn't semi-shelved. It just wasn't given out when it wasn't appropriate. Oh, we revived the Dade award, did we? Okay. Then one last thing, because remember, all the community agrees that, like, we just let go of the award. You're going to think this is negative initially, right? It is written by an utter dickhead. But what's funny is he actually very briefly explains my point. You have to explain why the award sucks now. The joke is this guy hates us, but when we didn't do the award anymore, even he can't handle what these morons on Reddit did. You go down, he explains all the reasons why the meta changed, that they changed Org, they changed the top laner, all these things that happened. That's why the Dade award exists. You go down, so why does it suck? Well, we haven't seen any situation nearly comparable to Dade. The above combinations has only ever been somewhat met once, God V. Since then, it's been specious at best. I think it's sort of dissing some of the years we gave it out. But no winner comes close. So if they don't meet the criteria, he just gets to change the criteria because he decides it's because of the meta change, because of the org change. No, that's not anything we said, moron. We decided. So if it doesn't, what's the purpose of giving it out? Oh, there we go. It's because they shit on some player he likes. Okay, brilliant. When G2 played against Carmine Corp a few months ago, 123 points. 123. This was on week 3, by the way. Let's go and look. Next, individually was good in that team. He just wasn't a great IGL. He was just a very average IGL. Right, so we're going to go to summer season. By the way, in week 3, Carmine Corp got to be 5th in the whole league. So because he got to be 5th this time instead of 10th, we all know what they're going to say. And by the way, let's see how badly this ages. So because he's got to be 5th, well, we can't just point out, well, he's not 5th, he's not 10th anymore. We have to go, can't wait for Upset to be signed as a top ADC to another team that will end up at the bottom of the rankings. Because you see it happen 4 times in history over, let me think, 5-year span. Out of how many splits? I mean, it'd be loads, but obviously not many players have had that ever happen to them, have they? Oh, by the way, this guy, 40 points. I feel like everyone knew it this time besides KC. Everyone knew Carmine Corp would be 10th place in 2 splits in a row. All the people I know thought Bo's amazing. By the way, they were like winning in scrims even against good teams before the split. Most people thought the Yamato signing was great. A lot of people thought Targamas would be good because he wasn't anymore with Patrick in XL. People thought from watching the RLs, Clappershard's going to be really good. We'll see, Bo's obviously going to be a monster, and Sarkin actually played things like Azir pretty well when he was in the ERL. But no, let's rewrite history, 40 points, JF Zephyr. I feel like everyone knew it besides KC, to be honest. I think I had Zabatine on a show, and he ranked Carmine Corp like top 4, I think. Might even have put them 3rd or something crazy, or maybe even put them 2nd. I can't remember. Maybe it was me who put them 2nd. I think he had them top 4, though. Weird how that works, innit? Everyone knew they'd be shit. And by the way, what happened after this? As we're busy fantasizing on itself, not even a very good roster, with like Canna and Closer, and the Vladdy who's never done anything. What did Upset then do in the playoffs? Let's see. They lost to G2. Well, obviously, G2's the best team in the region. They didn't lose to anyone. Oh, no, they lost to Fnatic this split. Then in the lower bracket, he 2-0'd MDK, a lineup that we all got mocked for saying was shit in winter. He 2-0'd them. Upset did. Let's go look at the games, though, because it's one thing to win the game. Let's look what they did, though, shall we? Let's look what they did. So against G2, by the way, this is in a loss to G2 with this team. Shit player, by the way. 10th aka worst player in the league. Wait a minute. Are you telling me, guys, that in a series he lost 0-2, Upset went 10 kills, 6 deaths, and 6 assists? That's pretty good. Most people are inting these games. It's weird. A lot of ints. Shit player, of course, 10th best. Then you go to low bracket. Mad Lions was in a final with this lineup, remember? Whoo! Excuse me. This is getting a bit X-rated. Super, the guy who thought he was like as good as anyone in the world, getting domed by fucking Upset. Well, it probably gets better in the second game. What? Nani? He didn't die once in the series. He went 19 kills and 10 assists with 0 deaths. Now, you know what? I can't wait for Upset to have more 10th fucking places. What's that? He banged on an LEC finalist without dying. Fucking hell. People just be saying anything. Let's go to the next round, shall we? Didn't stop there, of course, because he was one man carrying him. Then he played SK Gaming, who, by the way, was unironically a team people thought could make the finals of this. 2-1 them. First game, just a good Ezreal game. SK wins a game. Oh my God, Upset had a vaguely bad game when everyone got shit on. Last game, oh, what's that? On Zeri, did he smurf? My bad. I mean, I was only saying myself, Rahil's was an MVP candidate in the BO1s. He was one of the better ADCs in the league. Just getting smurfed on, of course. Smurfed on. Even in the loss, he died 3 times, for fuck's sake. Don't worry, that's not the end, though. Because are you ready? The thing about Upset is he can play series he loses and look good. We've just seen that against G2. Almost like he's the sign that he's actually way better than the team he's on. He's actually an elite talent. Game 1, they win. Upset does very well. Game 2, BDS wins. Upset does fine. Wait a minute. Where's all the shit performances, lads? He's garbage. He has a silent support while doing this, by the way. A Korean top laner and an idiot who fed for a whole year or split for Bjergsen and had to fuck off out of LCS back to like Turkish League or something. What's that? He lost another game and smurfed, sir. My bad. Guess he did that then. Well, they won a game. Oh, he be smurfing, 0 deaths. Last game, they lost this one. Still smurfing. Bro, haven't we found one bad game he's had in the whole fucking playoffs? He played 5 games here. He played 3 in the one before. He played... Was it 3 in the one before that? He played 3. So that's 8 games. 10 games, 12 games, and I found, what, 1 bad game out of 12. And he got the team to 5th in the regular season. It's almost like you should just swallow your pride and admit you were wrong, and he was never a shit player. Even in winter, by the way, most of the games they lost, he had early leads and got early kills, and then they just never did anything about him in the mid-game. But everyone knew. Just trash, innit? Trash. By the way, I hope Fnatic picks him up. I actually think they would literally win the LEC if they did. Next comment. 106 points. The amount of hatred is insane, because I've always told you, League of Legends subreddit is dominated by TSM fans, so Jensen is a bomb. Fnatic fans, so G2 and Upset, and Reckless fans, so G2 and Upset are total cunts. Carlos is a cunt, Perkz is a cunt, and T1 fans, so Chovy is shit forever, and so is Peanut, except when he was in T1. 100% convinced, not even just like, hey, Upset seems sometimes like everything people baselessly criticise Reckless for, both in-game and out. You are so real for this. Now, it's the idea, Reckless never was any of those things, like selfish player, ego player, plays scared, doesn't help his team, backs out the fight. He never was any of those things, but bizarrely, you mentioned all those years later, he's definitely not a Reckless fan. But Upset is 100% absolutely that, and that's not baseless at all. I'm going to, I promise you, do the Reckless video soon, and it is fucking unbelievable. It might even be done by the time this video comes out. When you find out what Reckless has done, it is insane. Meanwhile, I've talked to everyone behind the scenes about Upset. Nobody really has big complaints about him. Sometimes they just thought, oh, you want to play through his lane a lot, or you want certain picks or the jungle attention. The things Reckless was up to are fucking wiling, my dude. There's stuff like little kid tantrum, flip the table level shit. Everyone needs a support network, and mine is, of course, my Patreon community, the Scrominati, who, in many ways, they're the Sonny to my Cher, saying, I got you, babe. So this video and all the others on my channel were kindly supported by the following names: Ahmed Hadjou, Mac Pugnatio Rajcula, Adam Tomlin, Animosity, Jensen Goh, Tosh, Tooorin, and you know it. Jerky's Minion, my main man, always going to be referenced, one of the best patrons of all time. Would you like to ask a question in my AMA? Maybe you want to suggest a topic or a guest to say on my channel? Do you want teasers, find out who the upcoming Reflections and Talk to Thorin interviews are? Maybe you want to do one of those long discussions where you get to set the topics we talk about. Well, if any of these or others appeal to you, put your money where your mouth is. Join the Scluminati today via the Patreon link in the description box below.